here's Lou Maglio.
Good luck, Joe. Another Joe, good luck. Good luck to you. Hello and welcome to Academic Challenge, where tonight teams from Perry High School of Massillon, Cleveland Central Catholic High School, and Marion L. Steele High School of Amherst are competing in our 27th year. In our first electronic challenge round, each team starts with 100 points and has 6 questions. Correct answers are worth 10 points, and there are no penalties in this round. Now let's meet the members of team number 1, Perry High School. Senior Jeff Stevens is a member of the chess club, newspaper staff, and the National Honor Society. He plans to major in chemistry at the University of Toledo. Aaron Daniels, a senior, likes to write musical compositions, poetry, and literature. He is a member of the band and jazz ensemble and plans to study music and psychology in college. Senior Lance Bodner is a member of the golf and baseball teams, the newspaper staff, and vice president of the National Honor Society. He'll major in engineering at Purdue University. Jeff Stevens is the captain. Jeff, the lights are in motion, so push down that yellow button. And you have landed on You Pick. Let me run through the categories you can select from. We have sports, famous people, time and place, trivia, the right number, mathematics, literature, and history. Which one of those categories would you like?
History, please.
History, okay. 6 questions in this round. Your first is this. Our word filibuster comes from the Spanish filibustero, a term that originally described what kind of people typified by Jean Lafitte and Blackbeard?
Pirates.
Right. What French explorer lost many precious journals when his canoe tipped over after he left his friend Marquette?
LaSalle.
No, that was Joliet. New Englanders still throw snowballs, but hardly with the force of those thrown in 1770 when a snowball fight triggered what Boston tragedy?
Boston Massacre.
Yes. A horrified farmer told his wife that he had seen the devil on his way to Albany in a sawmill after observing the maiden voyage of what steamboat constructed by Robert Fulton?
Claremont.
Claremont is correct. President Andrew Johnson made an unpopular decision in June of 1865 when he reprieved Lambton Milligan, a leader of what Confederate sympathizers whose group name suggests poisonous snakes?
Copperheads.
Right, Lance. 1913, the weakening Ottoman Empire refused to give up control of what Mediterranean island, which is now the largest island belonging to Greece?
Crete.
Crete is the correct answer. And Perry, you have 150 points. Now, Cleveland Central Catholic High School, Joe Klitsch is a senior, plans to major in English at Hobart College. He's a member of the French club and wrestling team. Frank Farron is junior class president and a member of the football team. His interests include reading and researching military aircraft. Senior Ray Jablonski is a reporter for the school newspaper and member of the Spanish club and baseball and bowling teams. In his spare time, he enjoys writing and cooking. Joe Klitsch is the captain. Joe, the lights are spinning. Push down that yellow button for us. And you have landed on the right number. The right number is your category as we open up tonight's match. Prison overcrowding was not a problem at the Bastille in 1789 because when stormed by the mob, it held only what small number of prisoners, equaling the square root of 49?
7.
7 is correct. During the First World War, Woodrow Wilson proposed a peace settlement based upon what number of points to be embodied in a treaty?
13.
No, 14 points. Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays each appeared in what record number of baseball all-star games, a figure 2 less than the current number of major league teams?
24.
24 is correct. The muses of classical mythology added up to what number that would permit them to pair off with the justices of our Supreme Court?
9.
9 is right. Adlai Stevenson, twice the Democratic nominee for president, did not run for state or national office until he was how old? 12 years more than the minimum age required for our presidents.
47.
47 is right. While he wasn't the official portrait painter for the Union Army, old Peter Balling did paint likenesses of how many Union Army generals, a total equaling 3 cubed?
27.
27 is correct. In Central Catholic, you have 150 points as well. Now, Marion L. Steele High School senior Joe Karinko enjoys baseball, music, and astronomy, and is a member of the ski club. He plans to major in chemistry and physics at the University of Rochester. Rhett Vegahaupt, a junior, is a member of the track team and ski club. He enjoys biking, running, and water sports. Jeff Jajak, a senior, is a member of the marching and pep bands, National Honor Society, and Student Council. He enjoys skiing and camping and plans to major in engineering in college. Joe Karinko is the captain of Marion L. Steele. Joe, push down that yellow button for us. You land on you pick. Let me run through the categories we have left. Sports, famous men and women, time and place, trivia, math, and literature. Which one would you like?
Math.
Math, all righty. Question number 1. A triangle has an area of 35 and a base of 10. What is its altitude?
7.
7 is correct. If a certain fabric costs $5 a square foot, how much will a square yard of this fabric cost?
145.
No, $45. What is 500% of 30?
150.
Yes. 0 equals its own cube. Name one of the other two numbers that equals its own cube.
1.
1 is correct, or negative 1. If a man falls asleep at 15 minutes before midnight and wakes up at 7:15 the following morning, he has slept for how many hours?
7.5 hours.
Right. What is 32 to the 2/5 power?
4.
4 is correct. Marion L. Steele, guess what? You too, 150 points. Now, we'll be back with a lightning round in just a few moments, but teams, remember that at the end of the season, at the end of every match, rather, we'll check the ladder on our Super Bowl scoreboard. At the end of the season, the 3 teams with the highest scores are back to compete in an Academic Challenge Super Bowl. So far, the highest point totals have been South Range, Medina, and Copley. We'll be right back after this from Ohio Edison.
Always at your service, we got a job to do, making life better and brighter for you, sharing the needs of your community. We're people you can count on to take the lead. We're Ohio Edison, count on us. Ohio Edison, people you can count on. We're working with companies from all around, bringing new opportunities to your hometown. Working hard to get the job done. We're people that people count on. We're Ohio Edison, your neighbors and friends. Ohio Edison, we're people you can count on. Ohio Edison, count on us, count on us.
Before we continue with tonight's match, let's have a closer look at the schools that are competing tonight. At Perry High School in Massillon, the music department, including all bands and choirs, consistently achieves Division I ratings in state competitions. Donna Bishop, who coordinates the gifted programs at Perry, serves as Academic Challenge Advisor. She tells us the school has had national qualifying debate teams for the past 2 years and were champions last year in 4-man debates. The Perry Theater Department celebrates its 30th anniversary of musical theater productions. Cleveland Central Catholic, a coeducational high school, opened in 1968 and is located on 2 campuses. Co-advisors to the Academic Challenge team are Elda Baroni, a Spanish history and government teacher, and Bill Divis, a counselor. They tell us the students strive for academic excellence and are very committed to helping the community. Art classes are popular among the school's 624 students, with courses offered in drawing, painting, ceramics, and photography. Marion L. Steele High School honors distinguished alumni each year in its Gallery of Success. David Lango, who teaches chemistry and astronomy, is back for his 7th season as Academic Challenge Advisor. And he tells us the school recently started an environmental club, and its television studio produces quality programs for the local cable station. And now it's time for the lightning round. Teams, in this round, you will all compete in a visual free-for-all. The first team to ring its bell for each item will be recognized. The right answer is worth 10 points, but we'll take away 10 points for a wrong answer or if you fail to reply. Okay, teams, here we go with tonight's lightning round. This round might be called Sea Monsters because it's all about aquatic creatures, real and imaginary, that have inspired fear, whether warranted or not. Please identify the following. Sea monster allegedly inhabits this lake, Perry.
Loch Ness Monster.
Right. This fearful shark created terror in Catholic.
Great white.
Great white is correct. Cows have been eaten by these small South American Marion L. Steele.
Piranhas.
Piranhas is correct. Stinging coelenterate, such as Perry.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish is correct. This many-headed sea monster was killed, Perry.
Hydra.
Hydra is right. The killer whale is known by this O, Perry.
Orca.
Orca is correct. Monsters supposedly inhabited this jinxed area of Atlantic off Central Catholic.
Bermuda Triangle.
Right. These 10-armed cephalopods have eyes 15 inches, Perry.
Squid.
Yes. This mythic sea monster is paired with Charybdis. Marion L. Steele.
Scylla.
Scylla is correct. This anguilliform fish produces up to Marion L. Steele.
Electric eel.
Right. This ray, Daciatus sabina, injures thousands each year. Marion L. Steele.
Stingray.
Stingray is correct. This blue ring variety of this 8-armed creature, Marion L. Steele.
Octopus.
Octopus is right, Rhett. And that concludes a fast-paced lightning round. Now remember that at the end of the season, the 3 teams with the highest scores are back to compete in an Academic Challenge Super Bowl and will each receive the new Apple Macintosh Classic computer for their school. The computers are provided by Apple Computer Incorporated and Holcomb's Educational Materials Stores, Apple's largest educational sales consultant in Ohio. See Holcomb's for special educator purchase prices. There are more Apples in schools today than any other computer. In addition to their Apple computer, the winner of our Super Bowl program will also receive a very special championship trophy. We're back after this from Ohio Edison.
Always at your service, we got a job to do. Making life better and brighter for you. Sharing the needs of your community. We're people you can count on to take the lead. We're Ohio Edison, your neighbors and friends. Ohio Edison, we're people you can count on. Ohio Edison. Count on us, count on us. Always at your service, we got a job to do. Making life better and brighter for you. Working with companies from all around, bringing new opportunities to your hometown. We're Ohio Edison, your neighbors and friends. Ohio Edison, the people you can count on. Ohio Edison, count on us, count on us.
Before we go to our second electronic challenge round, let's recap the scores for you. In third place, we have Central Catholic with 170 points. And tied for the lead right now with 200 points, it is Perry and also Marion L. Steele. Now, in this round, each question is worth 20 points, but now you may lose 20 points for incorrect answers or lose 10 points for failure to reply. Any team that answers all 8 questions correctly will gain 25 bonus points. Okay, team number 1, it is your turn again. Perry, Jeff Stevens, you're the captain. Push down your yellow button for us. And you have landed on potluck. Some Fruits of Solitude was a book written not by a hermit, but by what Quaker who founded a colony in America?
William Penn.
Right. The vessel that became the hospital ship USS Hope had earlier been named for what sort of sea mammal that has tusks and whiskers and often lives in Arctic waters?
Walrus.
Yes. In the story of the Red-Headed League, Sherlock Holmes outwits a villain whose last name suggests what malleable earth substance that is often red and can be fired in a kill?
Clay.
Clay is correct, as in John Clay. You wouldn't want to nag a naga because in Hindu myth, a naga is a man who is secretly what sort of poisonous hooded Indian snake?
Cobra.
Yes. Everyone likes pennies from heaven, but with today's inflation, they might prefer what coins that picture Franklin D. Roosevelt?
Dime.
Dime is right. Choice here. A fin de siècle has nothing to do with fans, but pertains to the end of which of these? A century, a season, or a siege?
If you want to.
Siege.
No, the answer there was century. Choice again, if you wanted to talk to a monster, which one of the following could carry on a conversation? King Kong, Cerberus, or Caliban?
Caliban.
Caliban is correct. Prokofiev wrote of the love for 3 oranges, but the name love apples was given what round red vegetable once thought poisonous and now loved in spaghetti sauce?
Tomato.
Tomato is correct, and Perry, you have 320 points. Central Catholic, you're up next. Joe Klitsch, you're the captain. Push down your button for us. And you have selected history. What was the name given to the fleet of 130 ships and 30,000 men in which England's chief rival sent against her in 1588?
Armada.
Yes. Early American banners pictured a cut-up snake, but what large animal appeared on the flag of the First Republic of California?
Bear.
Yes. Although he was originally named Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus, by what name do we usually call this fiddle-playing Roman emperor?
Nero.
Nero is it. Terrorism is rampant all over the world today, but what one country suffered from Robespierre's reign of terror in the late 1700s?
France.
Right. Winston Churchill was an astute war leader, but proved less wily as a war correspondent when he was captured in what British War of 1899 fought in South Africa. Pass or play?
Pass.
The answer was the Boer War. William the Conqueror was assisted in his 1066 invasion of England by Odo, his half-brother. Odo later commissioned what tapestry that depicts the Battle of Hastings? Pass or play? This was the Bayeux Tapestry. The United States mediated an end to what foreign war when the Treaty of Portsmouth was signed in New Hampshire? Any attempts on this?
Pass.
The answer was the Russo-Japanese War. In 1928, racial segregation at the Department of Commerce was abolished by what Commerce Secretary, who became the U.S. President the following year, succeeding Coolidge?
Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover is correct. Ray, in Central Catholic, you have 240 points. And now, Marion L. Steele of Amherst. Joe Karinko is the captain. Joe, push down that yellow button. And you land on you pick. Here are the categories you can select from. We have Says Who, Geography, all the same, Letter Perfect, Science, and Literature. Which one would you like?
Geography.
Geography. All righty. Here we go. The Canadian city, now called Winnipeg, began as a small fort sharing what same name with a large British fortress at the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea?
Gibraltar.
Yes. Although peregrine falcons are now quite rare, they can still be found in what Canadian territory, which includes the Klondike and shares its name with a river?
Yukon.
Yukon is it. From the Spanish word for red, we get the name of what mountain state where tourists visit Pikes Peak?
Roja.
Colorado. Colorado is what we were looking for. Shark Bay is north of Perth, Australia, but Tiger Bay is a slum area of what English port that was home to the Beatles?
London.
Liverpool. Liverpool, Jeff. Green City in the Sun, a book by Barbara Wood, describes the highlands of what East African country whose capital is Nairobi?
Kenya.
Yes. You might have said that Brazil's leaders were playing musical cities when they moved their government to Brasilia from what original capital?
Rio de Janeiro.
Right. Choice here. If it's raining too hard on California's coast, residents can get themselves dry in what California desert? The Gobi, the Mojave, or the Painted?
Mojave.
Right. A mountain town some 770 meters above sea level is the way a cartographer might describe what Middle East town that is revered as the birthplace of Jesus?
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem is correct. Rhett, Marion L. Steele, you have 280 points. And we shall return with a time capsule round right after this message, so please stay with us.
Some people count on Ohio Edison a little more than others, and they know they can. hundreds of customers using electrically powered life support systems in their homes count on Ohio Edison people to keep track of them in the event of service interruptions. You can count on Ohio Edison.
And others can count on us for information on how to use energy wisely. And they get just what they need, the way they need it. You can count on Ohio Edison.
Ohio Edison. Count on us. Count on us.
The economic future of the cities and towns that Ohio Edison serves depends on their ability to attract new business and new jobs. That's why Ohio Edison's economic development teams work with communities to bring in new businesses, providing direct personal assistance to companies, encouraging them to relocate here. And that's good for all of us.
You can count on Ohio Edison.
Ohio Edison. Count on us. Count on us.
Students appearing on tonight's show will receive a photograph of their team as they appear on the show and an Academic Challenge t-shirt. In addition, the winners of tonight's show will receive a special plaque commemorating their victory.
Welcome back to Academic Challenge. Now we have a round of three-part video questions. The questions are key to a clip from an historic newsreel. The teams will be in direct competition. Each part of the three-part question is worth 10 points, and there's a 10-point penalty for wrong answers. Okay, teams, let's roll the evening's first video clip. The worst peacetime disaster for a U.S. submarine was the loss of the USS Thresher. Nearly 130 men died during a test dive in what year? The same year in which President John Kennedy was killed. Perry.
1963.
Right. Similar in design to the USS Nautilus, the Thresher was among an early group of submarines operating with what form of power, Marion L. Steele?
Nuclear power.
Right. The Thresher was thought to have been crushed by increasing pressure during a 1.5 mile dive. In what ocean? The same ocean in which the Titanic sank, Marion L. Steele.
Atlantic.
Yes, that is it. Now let's take a look at the evening's second video clip. This film clip depicts a prisoner exchange that took place following a failed attempt to invade Cuba, a 1961 invasion named for what Cuban bay? Central Catholic.
Bay of Pigs.
Right. Although this attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro was carried out by exiled Cubans, these exiles had been financed and trained by what? Perry?
CIA.
Yes. Although Castro initially proposed to exchange prisoners for tractors, he later settled for food and medicines. The U.S. committee set up to aid this exchange included what former First Lady who had lived at the White House from 1933 to 1945, Marion L. Steele.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes, that is it. Now let's roll the evening's third video clip. In 1952, the physicist Albert Einstein expressed regrets about nuclear weapons as he visited Prime Minister Nehru in what Asian republic where? Perry?
India.
Right. This visit occurred nearly half a century after Einstein had published his famous theory and formula relating Central Catholic.
Speed of light.
We're looking for a special theory of relativity, or E equals mc squared on that one. It was in this same year, 1952, that Einstein refused an invitation to take the ceremonial post of president of what new Middle East country? Marion L. Steele?
Israel.
Israel is correct, and that'll do it for tonight's time capsule round. And we'll be back for a final grab bag round right after this from Ohio Edison.
Oh, is that your service? We got a job to do, making life better and brighter for you, sharing the needs of your community. We're people you can count on to take the lead. We're Ohio Edison, count on us. Ohio Edison, people you can count on. We're working with companies from all around, bringing new opportunities to your hometown. Working hard to get the job done. We're people that people count on. We're Ohio Edison, your neighbors and friends. Ohio Edison, we're people you can count on. Ohio Edison, count on us, count on us.
Now teams face their final competition, the grab bag. Before we get going, I'll recap the scores for you. In third place with 240 points, Central Catholic. In second place, 320 points, Marion L. Steele. Our leader so far with 350 points, it is Perry of Massillon. Now, when the grab bag teams gain 20 points for each correct answer, those who fail to answer and 20 points are deducted. Okay, teams, here we go with the first question. If you sail due east from Rio de Janeiro, the first large landmass you'd come to would be what, Perry? Africa is right, Lance. In a book entitled God's Coach, the title refers to Tom Landry, former coach of what Texas Central Catholic?
Dallas Cowboys.
Right. Despite his nickname, Diamond Jim Brady did not own diamond mines. His wealth came from what transportation business in which Harriman and Vanderbilt also made fortunes? Perry.
Railroads.
Yes. Although his novels are usually very long, what American author uses short titles like Hawaii and Chesapeake? Perry.
Missioner.
Right. The best explanation for the nearly spherical shape of raindrops is based on evaporation, capillary action, or surface tension. We have Central Catholic.
Surface tension.
Right. The current Japanese writer Yoshimoto, whose novels sell millions of copies in Japan, has what unusual first name identifying a curved tropical fruit with a yellow peel? Central Catholic.
Banana.
Banana is right. A boy rows 8 miles an hour in still water. How many hours will it take him to go 10 miles upstream if the current is 3 miles an hour? Any attempts on this? Perry.
2 hours.
2 hours is correct, yes. The 19th century explorer John C. Fremont, an early governor of California, named his favorite horse for what capital city of that state? Marion L. Steele.
Sacramento.
Yes. In place of siege artillery, the Romans had what sort of slingshot war machines? Perry.
Catapult.
Yes. 1988 marked the 300th anniversary of the English Revolution that brought William and Mary to the throne, a revolution that's given what nickname? Marion L. Steele.
Glorious Revolution.
Right. Choice here. Force per unit area, normal to the force, defines which of the following? Pressure, momentum, or Perry?
Pressure.
Pressure is correct. The name Leonardo of Pisa was given to what medieval Italian? That's it. We're out of time. Marion L. Steele, I believe you got in before the buzzer, so go ahead.
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
No, that is not what we were looking for. We were looking for Leonardo Fibonacci, and that concludes tonight's match. Now, let's check the final standings. In third place tonight with 300 points, Central Catholic. In second place with 340 points, Marion L. Steele. Our champion tonight with 470 points, it is Perry of Massillon. Now let's take a look at our Super Bowl scoreboard and see if tonight's winner has a big enough score to win a place on the ladder with 470 points. Yes, indeed, Perry. Congratulations. You are on the ladder. Now be sure to catch the action this time next week when teams from John Marshall, Thomas W. Harvey, and Mineral Ridge will be facing off on Academic Challenge. I'm Lou Maglio. We thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next Saturday night. Good night, everybody.
Academic Challenge has been brought to you by Ohio Edison.